Okay. This week, what we're going to talk about are, well, it's the category of new lines of credit. For the most part, inquiries. Now, your inquiries, in and by themselves, really are not a whole lot of points. You know, even if they're 5 to 10 points, 3 at the minimum, that's just not going to affect you all that heavily. Now, your inquiries, your hard inquiries, are going to be on your report for 2 years. They really only affect you for the first year, though. So if you're moving to remove inquiries from your report because you feel that they don't belong there, don't even pay attention to the older ones. It's just the last year. If you've got a ton of them on there, 10 of those worth even 3 points apiece, that's 30 points. That's a little bit more serious to talk about. Now, in removing inquiries, you can write the credit bureau a letter and ask them, like the last dispute that we had, remove these items. I don't believe that they're there. But they're going to give you the runaround. And they're going to want you to contact the creditor, and the creditor will remove that. And you can go that route. There's a little bit more work with inquiries. It can be worth it. But if you've got less than a handful and it's a decision you've got to make. I know people who are at a 690, which is really pretty good credit, and they are just freaking out because they went down a few points. Typically as you have better credit, you're going to start to baby it a little bit more. And so usually this isn't the biggest destroyer of your credit. If you feel that it is, I'd be open-minded to some other reasons why your score might be where it's at. Soft inquiries, for the most part, when you get credit reports, it will distinguish between one or the other. They don't affect you negatively. There's a third type of inquiry, which it's a neutral type of inquiry. It's more of a seeking of info from like a government agency or something. Those don't affect you anyway. Negative, and I use that term loosely, inquiries that can be negative in nature are typically because you have sought new lines of credit. And that instantly screams at your report, here's someone whose credit lines may go through the roof. And so they're kind of flags for the most part. But if you go looking for a vehicle and they run your credit with a bunch of agencies, typically within a month, that rate shopping should not affect you negatively. And I think the credit bureaus really do a pretty good job of keeping track of that. But sometimes you'll get like a monitoring service, whether it's there's a ton of companies that can do that. I would recommend your Credit Perfection, or there's these monitoring services, Credit Karma. They may even tell you your inquiries are affecting you negatively. I would definitely pay attention to that and seek out. It's so helpful to just call or go in and talk to people that can assist you. I would call the credit bureaus and run that by them. If not, I would even send them a letter just saying from this date to this date, I was rate shopping. My monitoring service is telling me that this is affecting me negatively, and it's not. At least open up that correspondence. If they write back that it's, they're not going to remove that, I would send them a letter that's a little bit more heated. You may need to file a report with a government agency that the credit line or the credit bureaus are acting up. So your inquiries, you really want to know about them, but more often than not, it's not a huge issue that's destroying you at this time. But in the future, also keep track of them. Worst case scenario, a year from today, this is an issue that won't be hurting you all that bad. And, so I just want to educate you guys. If you have any specific questions about inquiries, feel free to go to the forum and hit me up, and let's address those. But let's look at your inquiries now. Focus on the dates, the time frames, really dirty up your original credit report that I had you marking up, and let's see what shows there, okay? See you guys next week.